Welcome to Blogs and Articles. In this series, we look at blog posts, articles online, and news stories about love, marriage, dating, and relationships. I'll provide some coaching questions for exploration, as I would for a client who is in this situation. Then finally, I'll provide my commentary at the end of just me being myself, unfiltered and unadulterated. Hi, I'm Janelle, the relationship coach behind The Successful Invisible. I help professional Black women who are 35 plus date and partner with more self-awareness and intentionality. Check out the links in the description box below to sign up for my next 5-day self-awareness and dating challenge. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. All right, came across this article on Side Post and I thought it was really interesting. It's something that I think a lot of people can relate to and have, if they haven't done it, they've probably leaned in the desire to do it at least once in their dating life. So let's go. Women are more likely than men to consider ending a relationship due to sexual disagreements. Sexual disagreements in relationships are more strongly associated with women considering ending their relationships than men, according to a new study published in the Journal of Sex Research. This finding, emerging from an analysis of thousands of participants, challenges traditional notions about the impact of sexual harmony on relationship stability. The study was spurred by a gap in existing research, which primarily focused on the link between sexual satisfaction and relationship stability, but seldom delved into how sexual disagreements might lead to instability. Surprisingly, despite the common occurrence of sexual conflicts and their association with reduced relationship satisfaction, this aspect has received little attention. Based on traditional gender ideologies, we would expect that sexual disagreements are associated with relationship instability more strongly among men than among women, said study author Dominika Pardock-Sladka, a researcher and PhD student at the Department of Sociology at Masaryk University. Some previous studies found that men judge their relationship quality by the quality of their sexual life more often than women. We were interested in testing if the gendered relationship between sexual disagreements and union instability found in earlier studies from the United States still exist in the 21st century and in other than U.S. context. We focused on 7 European countries, and we were using data from the Generations and Gender Study across nationally harmonized panel survey. Our study included both married and cohabitating partners. In the initial data collection for the Generations and Gender Survey began between 2004 and 2009 in the countries included in this study. The second wave of data collection occurred between 2007 and 2013, following up on the first wave. The sample for the current study included 19,446 participants, age range 18 to 79, from Austria, Bulgaria, Georgia, Germany, France, Lithuania, and Russia. The key measure of the study, separation proneness, was assessed by asking participants if they had contemplated breaking up with their partner in the past year. Additionally, the frequency of sexual disagreements was measured through a question about how often they had argued about sex in the last 12 months. The frequency of these disagreements was measured using a scale ranging from never to very frequently. Individuals who reported frequent sexual disagreements were found to be significantly more likely to consider ending their relationships. This effect was particularly pronounced among women. In comparison to those who never had such disagreements, women who frequently experienced sexual disagreements were 13.1% percentage points more likely to consider separation. In contrast, men with frequent sexual disagreements showed only a 5 percentage point increase in separation proneness compared to those with no disagreements. The researchers also found that at every level of sexual disagreement, women were more inclined towards separation proneness than men. This difference was more stark among those with frequent disagreements, underscoring a notable gender disparity. If a couple often experiences sexual disagreements, the partners are more likely to think about breaking up, Sladka told SidePost. This relationship between disagreements and separation proneness is surprisingly stronger among women than men. Even if the couple has no disagreements in other areas, such as money, family relations, or raising children, discrepancies in the sexual area can contribute to separation proneness. However, we found that the separation proneness is reversible. People who were thinking about breaking up with their partner before the first interview often did not report considering separation at the second interview, approximately 3 years later. The researchers controlled for other types of disagreements in relationships, as well as factors like age, education, type of partnership, and country of residence. But the study, like all research, includes some caveats. The complex nature of concepts like separation proneness and sexual disagreements is challenging to capture fully with single questionnaire items. Additionally, the study's findings are based on self-reported data, which may not always capture the full spectrum of a relationship's dynamics. Future research could expand on these findings by measuring both partners' perspectives in a relationship, exploring how they handle conflicts, and examining the dynamics in different social and demographic groups. Additionally, the role of communication styles in mediating the impact of sexual disagreements on relationship stability is an area ripe for further exploration. Our study focused on disagreements, but we were not able to include any measures of how couples deal with their conflicts. Slatka said couples' communication style might play a role in the negative effect of disagreements on the relationship. It would also be interesting to see how sexual disagreements are associated with relationship instability in same-sex couples. Moving on to some questions for reflection. These are some coaching questions that I would pose to a client in a similar situation to the article that I just read. Grab a fresh pen and notebook and answer these coaching questions truthfully and fully in order to go deeper on your own personal journey to greater self-awareness when it comes to dating and relationships. Question 1. How can the frequency and nature of disagreements around physical intimacy in a relationship influence thoughts about its future? Question 2. What factors contribute to a heightened sense of separation proneness, especially in the context of disagreements around physical intimacy? Question 3. How do gender perspectives influence the approach and reaction to disagreements around physical intimacy within a relationship? Question 4. What circumstances or changes can lead to a shift from considering separation to a more stable relationship stance? Question 5. How does one's communication style potentially mediate the impact of disagreements around physical intimacy on the relationship's stability? Let's jump into one of my favorite parts of the videos for my blogs and article series, and that's where I just offer you my thoughts on the article or blog post that I just read. Reading this article, I think the one thing that came up for me very, very clearly, I think I intuitively knew this, is sex is more deeply tied to a woman's connection to a person than for a man. And hence that's why, when there's disagreements around physical intimacy, it's made a higher percentage of women actually think about leaving their partners than men. And we even see this in relationships where a man will cheat, on his partner, on his wife, whatever, that he said it didn't mean anything. He just doesn't think of, having physical intimacy with another woman as a big deal, which is funny because men would not feel the same way if their partner decided to step out of the confines of their relationship and have physical intimacy with another man. So they do understand it on some level. They just don't think it applies to them. But it also shows that they don't think about that per se in terms of whether to stay or leave a relationship. And I think this article really highlighted this. Women understanding that disconnection with their partner or having disagreements around physical intimacy with their partner is so deeply tied to, in my opinion, safety. Having a psychological, emotional, and physical safety around that particular aspect of the relationship is directly connected, to having that physical intimacy. So if any woman is in a relationship where they're having such disagreements, it would be very prudent to answer the questions that I posed earlier, my questions for reflection, but definitely just weigh how you feel safe and what about those disagreements may make you feel unsafe with your partner, because I believe it's going to be very, very clarifying for you about what your next moves need to be, either with that partner or without them, or seeking to transition away from them, whatever the case may be. Either way, whatever the result is, I think taking the time to think about that will help a lot of women make decisions about the partners that they're currently with. Should they stay with them? Should they not stay with them? Should they, are they just not compatible in that arena? And it's very, very important that they are, because there's so many other things that's tied to internally for women. So those are just my thoughts on the matter. Thank you for joining me today for this episode of Blogs and Articles. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Check out the links in the description box below to sign up for my next 5-day self-awareness and dating challenge. Also, check out my podcast, The Successful Invisible. Next season publishing soon on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Until next time, this is your coach, Jay Nell. Stay empowered and see you on the next article or blog post.